What's up guys, and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about the courtesy shop and what to build in the courtesy shop. Before I start this off, if you do enjoy this video, you can always leave a like on this video, and also you make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification icon to always get notified when I do upload a brand new video here on YouTube. I'll be doing tons and tons of Deadlock videos. In the shop, right, you go to browse builds, and then you can pick from the public builds, but you don't want to pick from the public builds as much because people don't really update these builds, right? So a couple days ago there was a patch and most of these items did get nerfed, so you want to be careful of that. I know people are still running siphon bullets in some of these builds somewheres and for other characters, and siphon bullets is just not good anymore, right? So sometimes these are updated, sometimes they're not. Hit or miss with these, and that's why you want to create your own build, right? So you go to create a new build, you go here, and we're on Infernus right now. I actually just changed real quick. You can name your build, so you can do like anything. You can do Infernus build 1 v1, something like that, anything you want, right? And then you create your categories. You create your category here. You can keep doing as many categories as you want. I'm pretty sure. I think it goes up. Actually, yeah, it looks like it's unlimited. The first category I would put early game, just to have that in there as a early game mode. And also you can have ability point order as well in the bottom left. As you can see, that is basically telling you when to do your ability. So if I click this ability, that's the first ability that I would follow in this. Not many people look at the ability point orders, but sometimes it's pretty useful sometimes. And then you can do, like, say you want flame dash for the second, and there you go. So you got your one is upgraded, and then your second ability is upgraded, so you can follow that if you want. But for most part, I mainly just use the builds, right? So here, early game, and then you can write a description here. For the most part, you want these items to be 100% buy items, and they're all going to be the low tier items, the 500 soul items, right? So you got weapon, vitality, of course, and you got spirit. All these items are going to be 500. The only 500 ones for early game because you're starting off the rip. So for example, I can put in close quarters because I am on Infernus, and deal additional weapon damage when in close range to your target. Infernus kind of likes being in mid-range to close range, so I'm going to put that, add it to build, and there you go, it adds to your build. You can also move these around now. Before you couldn't move these around. So say if I wanted headshot booster as well, where I get, deal bonus damage when I hit headshots as well, and I can swap these out left or right. Usually you want to put these in the order that you're going to buy them in every game, right? So say if you have another character like Abrams or something like that, you're going to want to put, same thing. You're going to want to put like headshot booster. So if you're going to buy headshot booster first, or that item first, you put that first, and then you put the second item, and then so forth, so forth, so forth. You can always change this up, of course. You don't need to stick with that kind of order, but it's just helpful to keep your brain, occupied with everything else, because there's a lot of things to learn in this game, so it would be better just to keep your brain kind of set that way, so you can just go left from right. If you want another item in there, you add hollow point ward or rapid rounds. What you can do is you can take this out by just dragging it out of the zone, right? So close quarters I'll add, and I'll add rapid rounds and retroactive shot, just in case I need that little bit of healing. You always want to add some sort of healing measure from your weapons into this category, right? So if there's a height healing item, then you add it in there, right? Just to help you out a little bit. You can also add like monster rounds, a lot of items got changed. It's basically all up to you what you want in these items. I mean, you shoot with Infernus, you light someone on fire, so I'm definitely going to want like rapid rounds in there. I'm going to want close quarters to do extra damage, right? Then, so this is just an example I'm just going to leave right here. Then you would do vitality. Add things like enduring spirit. So if you need extra health for early game, you add a bit of bonus health and it keeps you alive. So if you need this early on in the game, then you can just buy this instead of buying, say, retroactive shot. You don't need to buy retroactive shot. You can even get it out of here and just buy spirit. It's all up to you. Also, you can buy sprint boots or extra stamina. Both of them are pretty decent. I like sprint boots a little bit more because you go a little bit faster, but for the most part, you get your stamina recovery for this one if you do need that as well. If you're rolling a lot, say if you're rolling a lot in the lane and you really need that, say if you're a tanky character and whatnot, then throw on stamina as well for early game. So usually you're going to want to have at least 2 of these, so I'll just put these 2. So at least you're going to want to have at least 2 of these in here for the early game. 3 to 2, I would actually say 2 of the weapons for early game, and then 2 of vitalities as well. So the other thing I'm going to add is spirit, right? So spirit's the last tab, and I'm going to add an active. So there's always actives in this game that you can use, and this active is very, very good for Infernus because you can pop it and you're going to gain spirit power and spirit lifesteal at the same time, right? So that's pretty insane, and especially in early game modes, you're going to want that facing another player in the lane, right? You're basically building this deck to come above and trying to beat the person in your lane, and then characters are on the map, right? Of course. So I'm going to add that as well. So now we got 2 weapons, we got 2 vitalities, and we got 1 spirit so far. We're going to add another spirit. So we're going to add extra spirit. So extra spirit is going to give me that little tiny bit of more burst damage for my abilities, plus 8 spirit power, plus 8 spirit power, plus 1 health regen, and plus 35 bonus health. So my spirit power is going to go a little bit up more as well. So buy that, and there we go. We have our early game set up here. We can buy 1 2 1 2 1 2. So you can also add another category. You can name this, for example, optional heals. So I'm going to do optional heals right there. So just in case you need that more healing. Now this is with any character. If you need more healing on that lane, you can always put some stuff in here as an item. You go to your vitality and you can add healing rate. Healing rate has actually helped me out a ton in the early game pressuring. If I got pressured a lot and I was started getting poked, people call it poking. So basically what the character is doing, the enemy character is going to be doing to you is they're poking you, quote unquote, right? So they're just shooting you a bunch and they're bursting your health down. So they're bursting your health down a lot, right? So if he's on a character that can, you know, throw a ability at you far away or something like that, and he does a decent amount of burst damage to you, that's called poking, and you're going to need that health regen, right? So this is going to basically grant you that. So grant regen and sprint speed to the target as well. Gets dispelled if you take damage from enemy players or objectives. Can't be self-cast, so you do it on yourself, and then you get some regen and also sprint speed to get out of the situation that you're in. So you can add that into the optional heals. This is always going to be good for early game as well. Remember, this is going to be early game. This is just adding another category here to basically like make it less confusing for you. You don't want to just add all kinds of stuff into these categories and then you'll be confused. Like I could totally add this healing rate into early game. It's just going to confuse me. It's going to be very, very confusing with all these things. So you want to have a separate category for that to make it less confusing on yourself. And you can go in your shop, click, buy, done. You know, you don't have to go search for the item. And of course, the next one I'm going to add is extra regen. Extra regen is going to give you extra regen. So you can have either or of these, or you can just buy both of them as well. So if you need extra heals a lot, then get both of them. Screw it. You know, get as much as you can in there. You can even have, you know, another one, maybe even melee lifesteal. If you're playing Abrams and you're somehow getting low on Abrams HP wise, you can add melee lifesteal in there. Same premise goes, you know, you can even add this on Infernus if you wanted to as well, if you do melee a ton, and then you'll get, you know, attacks heal you for 20% of the melee damage dealt plus 90. The heal is a 40% effective versus non-heroes, right? Next is going to be the mid game to the core of your character, right? So remember, you always want to go left to right, so it's going to be simpler for you. And if you do need to change it up, then you have the willpower to do that. You can skip close quarters and buy something else, right? For example, I can add Soul Shredder in here. Your bullets apply a debuff that amplifies your spirit damage against the target and grants you spirit lifesteal against them. This is going to be really good for me to basically stay alive and do a lot of damage, right? So I'm going to add that in there. I can even add some spirit stuff in here as well. I could do Mystic Vulnerability. This is going to, when the target takes spirit damage, they have their spirit resist reduced, so you'll do tons of damage since you are on Infernus. Some people even add Bullet Resist Shredder, so reduces bullet resist on enemies when you deal spirit damage. You can even add that as well if you wanted to. You know, anything in here, it's all up to you, right? For the most part, I'm going to add like increases the duration of your abilities and items. I'm definitely going to want to add that in Infernus because, you know, it's going to be insane when his burning on you is going to keep burning and burning and burning. Be higher chances of you killing somebody that's low HP, that's far away, that are on fire, right? Also, you go back into weapon, and you can even put something in here that's a little bit more expensive, right? So toxic bullets, for example. Toxic bullets can be mid-game to sort of late game. It's like a in-between item here. These kind of items are kind of in-between items. I would call it like, you know, 1250 kind of mid-game, starting of mid-game, and then 3000 starting of true mid-game, and then this is late game, right? So you could even add, instead of calling this mid-game, you can even add it to early mid-game and then mid-game, but I'm just going to keep it mid-game, keep it simple, right? So in here, you can even add, say, Toxic Bullets. So Toxic Bullets is going to be really, really good for going against those tanky characters because you're going to have that burning on them, and then you're going to add that Toxic Bullets on them, so they're going to get damaged by both things, and you're going to do a lot more damage. You're going to have bleed on them and burning, right? So add that in there as well. It's going to be a little bit more costly, but since you're going left to right, you should be able to build this pretty easily if you farm right. So make sure you add some vitality in there as well. So Spirit Lifesteal, for example, always good. Going to give you more lifesteal if you need it. Enduring Speed as well. This is going to upgrade the sprint boots. So basically get more speed reduces the effect of enemy movement slows as well, which is going to be really good for you. And also you always want to add a spirit. For at least Infernus, you can add like improved spirit, so something from the 3500 category, or you can even add some actives in here if you want. Release an expanding ice blast that deals spirit damage and slows targets. You can add actives. You can add like withering whip, which target an enemy to apply fire rate slow and reduce their bullet resist. So if you want to go against, say, like Haze or something, you can use this on Haze. Haze uses this a lot against other people, you know. You could do slowing hex in here as well. Probably be adding an improved spirit just to get a little bit more damage in there. You always want to get a little bit more damage, as much damage as you can squeeze out from your abilities. So I'm going to add that in there. And now what it looks like is mid game is going to have these items. So that's going to be the mid game. Now we're going to add the late game basically, and or the big items. So you can do late game or big items, doesn't really matter. There you go. And go back in here and look for big item things, right? So for example, leech is a big item that gives you a lot more lifesteal. If you're going for lifesteal build, you can add that in there as well. Say if you want this for the first item you buy, so add lifesteal. You can go back to weapon. You say spiritual overflow, you can add that as well. It is pretty insane. Or even crippling headshot. You know, headshots reduce targets of bullet and resist spirit. So if you're hitting a lot of headshots, you get that. Siphon did get nerfed, so I wouldn't really add that, but spiritual overflow is going to be good as well. Big item, 6300. These items are the items that you're going to be buying to have in late game, because you're going to be getting so much souls, and yeah, late game items, big boy items that make you basically win the game. Crippling headshot is good as well. Headshots reduce targets bullet and spirit resist. So you just, like I said, you just want to go in here and read the items throughout and pick which items you want to build for that specific character. I'll go back to spirit. I'll even add boundless spirit as well, so you get way more spirit damage in here in this end game. Upon casting an ultimate ability, gain temporary bullet shield, spirit shield, and spirit power. You can also add that as well. And then of course you can even add ricochet up in here. Where's ricochet? You can even have ricochet up in here as well. So basically this is what the end game is going to look like. So this is all for example, by the way. I'm literally just showing as an example to show you guys how the system works, right? So that's late game. That's what you want to do. Have a late game page. Early game, optional heals, mid game, and late game. This category, you can do, say, defense. So if you really need that defense and these items are not working for you, say like the optional heals, the mid game items, and they're not enough for you and you're still getting trampled and you don't have enough defense for your character, then you can have this category, defense. So like it sounds, you can go to spirit, you can go any of these and look for defense items. So you got this ability, ethereal shift, I think that's how you pronounce it. You enter a void state and become untargetable and invincible for a short time. You can't do anything in that state, but you can still look around and plan your next move while you're in that state. So you can't do anything, but you instantly reload after and gain bonus spirit power as well. And you can press space to cancel it early if you need to cancel it. But I would add that in there because that's an ability for defense, and that's an ability I would want. Say if I'm around mid-game, this is a mid-game item, 3,000 souls. So say if I'm around mid-game area and I need that, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm getting shredded. I need something to stop the damage really quick, and then I can proceed with the damage, let the enemies use their abilities on me, and then I can proceed killing them afterwards, right? So throw that in there as for a defense page. You can even add metal skin, become immune to bullets and melee attacks. That's good as well. You can do debuff remover, reduces the duration of all negative effects applied to you. You can even add majestic leap in there too. So if you need a majestic leap, that's going to be great. This is actually a really good item for 7 because his ultimate ability and majestic leap actually combos. Always going to add some improved spirit armor, but also improved bullet armor. So add those two in there as well. So you got these two. These can be in any order, by the way. I'm just putting them in random order. Doesn't really matter because these are the items that you're going to be picking randomly, right? These items you're mainly picking left to right. These items you're picking randomly. Sometimes you do want to not pick these left to right. Sometimes you do want to change it up. Say if you need the duration extender early on more rather than say soul shredder bullets, you want duration more, then you can obviously buy it and then go back to buying this afterwards. You can get unstoppable in there, which is a 6300 active but suppresses negative effects and become immune to stun and basically everything. So you throw that in there as well. Reactive barrier is another good ability, so you can throw this in there because it's only 1250, right? 1250 souls. So I would throw this in there, and then just in case you need to have this, say, really early game, basically almost mid game, then you can just throw this on if you are getting stun locked and you're getting movement locked and everything like that. Throw this on, it'll definitely help you out a ton in the early game stages. Always like adding warp stone. Where's warp stone? So warp stone's really good. It's a really good active. Teleport straight ahead, gaining bullet resist. That's always good for chasing people and or getting out of situations, as well as a defense card. So that's basically what your build is going to look like so far. Then you can add another category called other good items or something like that. So these items are going to be like anything that you're going to need maybe in the future. Maybe, for example, you want to go to Spirit and look for Silence Glyph. You know, fires a projectile which silences and damages the target. Silence does not interrupt channeling abilities. Maybe you want knockdown. Target is knocked down and stunned after a 2-second delay. Maybe you have 7 on the enemy team and you need like a knockdown ability. And there you go. You know, you could stun him out of the sky. That's 2 actives right there. You can even add like Echo Shard, reset the cooldown of your most recently used non-ultimate ability. So that's always good if you have your, you know, you want to use Flame Dash twice. There you go. You get Echo Shard. You put that in there. You know, you want Magic Carpet. You can put that in there as well. It's very endless of the possibilities and the items you can have in this. Usually you're always going to want to mix it up. You don't want just vitality items in any of these categories. You want to mix it all up, right? So see, I have some mostly vitality in here because it's more defense oriented, but I still have like a weapon item in here, and I still have 1 spirit item in here. So you want to switch it up a bit. So I do have all spirits here, so then I can go to vitality. I can throw another item in here, say fortitude. After not taking damage for 11 seconds, gain 4% max health regen. Throw that in there as well. Doesn't matter the price. It's a good item. Throw it in there. If you need it, you can use it. If you're running around the map more, going through the veils, which they call it, and this is called Veil Walker, going through those little shield barrier kind of things near the farm areas where that one person can't see you when they go through it. It's basically the veil, right? So walking through a cosmic veil, that's what it's called, grants you stealth, increased movement speed, restores all bullet and spirit shields, and etc. Fire rate bonus as well. Throw that in there as well. You know, it's a good item if you really need it, and if you're going through veils a lot. You know, this is never ending. You can put as many things in there. You can even put cheaper items like Fleetfoot. I wouldn't really put 500 cost items in the you know, other good items category. It's mainly for items that are like 1200 plus, I would say personally, but Fleetfoot's good as well. Removes this movement speed penalty while shooting. You can put active reload if you really want active reload at like a late game or mid game. Throw that in there as well. You know, you got a kinetic dash. Your next dash jump does not cost an extra stamina, and you gain fire rate and bonus ammo until your next reload lasts up to basically 10 seconds. You want that in there, throw it in there. You know, this is basically a category for anything that you think is going to be good, that you think that could be good as an extra stuff. And also, if you need to leave a note for yourself, you can always put something in here. So you can put like, get Infuser active if enemy is weaker, you know, because, you know, Infuser is going to give you spirit power and spirit lifesteal. So you can put that in there as a note to yourself, or any note that you basically want, right? Yeah, this is basically an example of a build that you can make. I could change it up a little bit and maybe go into the late game, maybe put like, you know, you can even put something else in here if I really wanted to, but that's basically the main portion of the build that you're going to be wanting to make, right? So you want early game, definitely have an early game, have optional heals as well, just for those extra heals. Mid game, gonna want that. You can even do extra damage as well if you wanted to add a category instead of optional heals, extra damage. You could type and then go into your weapon and add some damage items if you really would want to do that. Mid game, of course. Late game, defense. Always have defense category and other good items as a extra slot to have other good stuff. Also, there's a ability point order, but I don't really use it. I feel like people should just not really use that, and people should just, you know, just upgrade what you want to upgrade in the situation. So say if I need to get out of a situation faster, and you know, the enemies are pushing me a lot and I don't have that much health to survive, I'm always going to upgrade my 2 first. You know, you're always going to upgrade your 2 a lot. It's basically very situational, so it's just too much stuff to remember as well. At that point, you're just like, you really have to remember that as well. It's like, oh, you already have enough items to remember, you know. So also, like I said earlier about patch notes, if anything changes in these builds that you don't like, that you make yourself, like say last week you made a build and now this week, say, I don't know, rapid rounds is terrible now, you can go to browse builds, you can go to your edit button and literally just take that out of there. You can just like throw it away. So just like that, just click and drag, throw it away. And that's all you got to do. and then it's not there anymore and you replace it with something else. So say if that was bad, I'll replace it with, I don't know, for example, Hollow Point. Hollow Point ward, when you are above 50% health, deal additional weapon damage. And there you go. Actually, I added it down here. I didn't have it selected, but you know, you get the gist. So basically, when I first started this game, I got confused on what to sell the items, right? So for example, say if you get all your early game stuff, did that, got all my early game stuff, say if I even get that, I buy everything. Now, as you can see, my slots are filled down here. In the bottom left, you only have 4 slots to fill until you get the flex slots after destroying guardians, right? Which you can hold more items. That's more late game. Say if you are in more mid game, like this is, and you need Spirit Lifesteal. So get rid of extra regen, because extra regen is just extra regen. You know, Spirit Lifesteal, you're going to have a lot more firing power, of course, and use your abilities and everything like that. So I would get rid of extra regen. Replace that. You want Enduring Spirit. That's sprint boots. That goes up, upgrades, improves spirit as well. That's going to upgrade as well. And as you can see, these all upgrade. So the abilities, so for example, sprint boots is going to turn into Enduring Spirit. So if I sell Enduring Spirit, sell sprint boots is at 1 down here, as you can see. And now if I do Enduring Spirit, number 2, each item is going to have a certain amount of levels up that you can level up without having to sell something, which is going to be really good for yourself, right? Late game, Leech is going to be more of a defensive item, so that's Spirit Lifesteal and everything like that, right? So I can even get rid of the Spirit Lifesteal that I just bought at 1,000, and this is going to be late game, so 6,300. So why would I need, you know, why would I need Spirit Lifesteal there? I don't need Spirit Lifesteal. I don't even need Healing Right at this point, because, you know, this item's just so much better. Leech is so much better. Spirit Lifesteal, and you get Bullet Lifesteal. So it basically replaces both of these items. It even replaces the Enduring Spirit. I would replace Spirit Lifesteal and sell that. So don't feel bad about selling off your 500 worth items. You always want to sell off your 500 worth items. When you are near mid game to late game, start selling off those 500 cost items. They're not worth it anymore. They're not going to give you as much beneficial as you can get out of the late game items, and also the defensive items and other good items and damage items and blah, 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 blah. Just keep going, right? So for Spiritual Overflow, I get rid of Close Quarters. Who cares? You know, Spiritual Overflow is going to be way better for yourself. Instead of Hollow Point, sell. Get Crippling Headshot. You know, it just keeps going on and on. Same thing with Spirit. This is going to give me Spirit Lifesteal upon casting an ability to gain temporary Bullet Shield, Spirit Shield, and Spirit Power. So this one you can even get rid of, you know, you can get rid of Infuser if you want. It's active. Usually people do keep actives though, if they are cost 500, but you can get rid of it still. These are 1,200 items. So it's all up to you. If you don't need the duration of your abilities anymore, you can get rid of that. I kind of like that though. So I would get rid of Infuser. Don't really need it. Ricochet is going to, you know, your bullets will ricochet on nearby items. That's going to be really good. So I would get rid of Soul Shredder. Personally, constantly upgrading your character and getting rid of old items. If you need this item to defend yourself, I would get rid of one of these. So I would either get rid of Mystic Vulnerability or Duration Extender. Most likely get rid of Mystic Vulnerability instead of Duration, because Duration, I want my, you know, abilities to last longer on target. So I'm going to get rid of the Mystic. And yeah, it's basically all up to you what you want to get rid of and what you want to sell. Like I said, don't feel bad about it. You're going to get more powerful as a character. You're not losing anything out on selling the lower cost items, basically, right? The heavier cost items and more expensive items are going to always be better than the lower cost items, right? So yeah, that was my guide on the shop and on the build. If you guys do need any more help, please leave a comment down below, and I'll be happy to help you guys and explain some things. And maybe you can ask me what item to get rid of and what item to not get rid of, and blah, 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 blah for each character. Who knows? It's all up to you guys. It's all up to your creative builds and everything like that. You can even put the build on public as well after you're done making it if you really want to. If I'm back here, I go up, browse builds. You can even make it publish. So you can press here, press publish, and go through that, and then your build will be on public. So, and then people can scroll down and find your builds. Your friends can favorite your builds as well. For the most part, that was my build guide and how to create a build for yourself and for your character. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. You can always leave a like on this video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. It does help me out tremendously. It really does. And yeah, have a great day and or night, guys, and peace.